Guys, just because your team made the playoffs doesn't mean that they're any good. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? It's me again, Golden Blue Dude, and if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. I do videos just like this every single day. So a lot of people like to brag that their team got to the playoffs, which means that their team is good. No, it does not, and I have the numbers to prove it. Not all playoff teams are created equal, and I'm here to rank them from first place to dead last. You suck last place. Just because you made it to the playoffs doesn't mean you were good that year. Before I get to the actual rankings, I actually broke this down by seeds as well. And it's very interesting because there's one particular seed that you actually want to avoid altogether because that seed has not had a ton of success. Believe it or not, the seed that's had the most success is actually the 2 seed, 7-4 overall in the playoffs. 3 national championships. Next up is the 1 seed. I thought the 1 seed would have the most success, but no. Overall, they're 7-5 with only 2 national championships. Right behind them is the 4 seed. 4-5 overall with 2 national championships. And then the worst seed, the one you want to try to avoid, is that dreaded 3 seed. 4-6 overall and just 1 national championship. So the next time you see the playoff rankings released, if you see a 3 beside your team, it's not necessarily a good thing. Now let's get into the actual team rankings. Believe it or not, there's only been 11 teams to ever make the playoffs. So starting at dead last, number 11, Michigan State. Yikes. They've only had 1 appearance, no wins, a winning percentage of 0%, and no points. That's right. Michigan State made the playoffs once, didn't even score a point. So yeah, Michigan State, you're an embarrassment to all playoff teams that have ever made the playoffs. You are the worst of the worst. Number 10 on this list, Washington. They also only had 1 playoff appearance, didn't win a game, so their winning percentage, 0%. But at least they did score a touchdown, 7 points. I think Washington is on the right trajectory now, but as far as playoff programs, you're not very good. Number 9 on this list, Florida State. Also 1 appearance, meaning their winning percentage, 0%. At least they scored 20 points. I mean, they made it a game. The once dreaded Florida State Seminoles, who used to own the ACC during the modern playoff era, didn't make much noise at all. In fact, straight up sucked. Number 8 on this list, Notre Dame. They've only made 2 playoff appearances, and they're 0-2, which means their winning percentage is 0%. No national championships. They only scored 17 points in those 2 games. Not good, Notre Dame. Not good. And this is why people cringe whenever the playoff committee announces Notre Dame. It's only because of that name, because y'all have never actually earned your way in, and whenever you get in, you do nothing. Number 7 on this list. This is the team that proves that just because you make it to the playoffs a lot of times doesn't mean you're any good. Oklahoma with 4 playoff appearances. 0-4, meaning no national championships and a 0% winning percentage. But at least they've scored 127 points. So you got that to hang your hat on, I guess. I don't know. I will say during this time period that Oklahoma has had good teams, but for whatever reason, whenever they get to the playoffs, they choke. They choke. That's why the Big 12, it might be a long time before we get back to the playoffs. Even though I think Oklahoma has a great team this year. You just have a history of choking. We'll see what happens though. Number 6 on this list, Georgia. They've only had 1 playoff appearance, but they played 2 games, 1-1. And they did get to the national championship. Didn't win it, but a winning percentage of 50%. And they scored 77 points, which put them at 6th place instead of 5th. The points were the tiebreaker on that. So, 5th place. Oregon also with 1 playoff appearance, 2 games though. They got to the national championship, 1-1, winning percentage of 50%, no national championship, but they scored 79 points. That's 2 more points than Georgia, and that's why they got 5th place. 4th place on this list, crazy. This team actually has not lost a game in the playoffs, but they've only appeared 1 time in the playoffs, and that's LSU. 2-0, made it to the national championship, won the national championship, winning percentage of 100% and 105 points. Man, when they showed up, they made it count. Number 3 on this list, Ohio State. 4 playoff appearances, a record of 3-3, 1 national championship, so that's a winning percentage of 50%, and they scored 180 points. Not bad, Ohio State. So the number 2 team on this list is Clemson. 6 straight playoff appearances. They are 6-4 overall with 2 national championships, a winning percentage of 60%, and they've scored 305 points. And of course, the number 1 playoff team of all time, Alabama. They also have 6 playoff appearances, but it's not a streak. That streak was broken in 2019. 3 national championships, a winning percentage of 72.7%. That is amazing because they are 8-3. 8-3 in the playoffs. That's crazy. And 367 points. Alabama puts up points, and that's why. Guys, this is not debatable. This is by the numbers. Maybe the greatest program of all time might be a debatable subject, but the greatest playoff program of all time is Alabama. There is no debate. The numbers say Alabama. That's all I got for you for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.